fucking exciting, isn't it? So, welcome to Monday Night Mental Health. I am the lovely Dr. Nico here to talk to you. Oh, my bad. I'm not Dr. Nico tonight. My bad. I'm Daphne Black tonight. And me and her actual name is Daphne Blake, but you know, say all words, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But either way, we have the lovely opportunity to talk about mind-body connection tonight. So, usual spiel kind of shit. I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I am a certified rehab counselor. That's what I was. I am a master addiction counselor, a licensed clinical addiction specialist, and I hold a whole ass PhD. That's right, baby, you said doctorate in rehabilitation counseling and administration. And I like to do this segment simply because mental health is fucking important, right? It's fucking importante, right? And a lot of times it's mostly because people, you know, just kind of need layman's terms and real people. That's right, Cat Daphne. That's right. That's right. A lot of times people just kind of need some layman's terms spit at them about mental health, and that's what the fuck we are here to do, yo. So, tonight, I have turned it down all the way, and it's ridiculous, right? I think I'm going to just turn the music off on it. Let's see if that's any better. Like, it's not even registering right now. But whatever. We're just going to hit continue on this shit. So, mind-body connection. We left off last week just kind of talking about physical symptoms and shit, right? I'm going to cut the music off on it in a minute when I get to the options. That's cool. Okay, that's fine. Hello, Jake. Options. So we talked about how symptoms can start to manifest physically. However, we did not talk about just kind of how, well, we didn't touch on completely how mind and body and stuff connects, right? Come here, Jake. Jakey. You want to be in my lap or you don't? Which is it, bud? But either way. So we didn't necessarily touch on that completely, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I turned it down in OBS. Fuck it. Sure, we'll play the computer. So, mind-body connection. We talked about last time how there are 3 ways to intervene, right? Because of the whole vagus nerve thing going from the brain to the heart to the stomach. And so there's different ways to intervene with that. We can intervene mentally with rearranging our mental processes. Physically with just trying to slow our heart rate and change up our respiration, as well, and muscle tension, as well as through the stomach, which is like comfort food, aromatherapy, stuff like that, right? So the mind-body connection is really serious business, and we often don't really think about it. Let's be Mel. Let's be a fat guy. We're gonna beat Sam up. So because we can intervene in one of those 3 places, that often means we tend to treat some symptoms, some physical symptoms with mental things and vice versa, and so on and so forth. So the mind-body connection is present in anything that we do. I've completely forgot how to play this game. Whatever. It's present in everything we do. And so a lot of reasons why people say, you know, well, you should try yoga, or you should try belly breathing, or you should try comfort foods and all that stuff. It's mostly because whatever we think affects how we feel, and how we feel affects how we think. It's an ongoing cycle. We are deeply connected. So let's use a great example about stress, right? How many times have I said that we are built to handle stress, but we are not built to maintain stress for a long period of time, right? We hit that bitch. I'm out of bounds again. Should have aimed this way.
See ya.
We aren't built to handle stress for long periods of time, right? So because after we visited what we said last week, after long periods of time with stress, our body starts to manifest physical symptoms, okay? That is the mind-body connection at play. If we don't feel good because we're pushing out all our resources and whatnot, that means we're not going to think very highly of ourselves, not going to think very highly of our efforts or anything that we do. That also kind of goes back to that conversation I mentioned about, why therapists and clinical mental health professionals mention, oh, you lost interest in doing those things, do those things and you'll feel better. It's because it's essentially true. They're trying to reverse the symptoms. So if the symptoms have started with the mind, with the negative self-talk, with the feeling overwhelmed and stressed all the time, then has they've bled into influencing the body, then that means we have to go the reverse route. We have to start pleasing the body to better the mind. Okay. So, why does yoga work? Why does meditation work? Why does sitting by yourself for a good 10 minutes work? Why? So, if you think about your mind and your body as, we're not going to use the machine example because we use the machine example a lot. Ooh, it's in the water. We're not going to use the machine example. If we think about it like two cogs, right? So in the morning when we get up, if we're fortunate enough to not wake up with racing thoughts, in the morning when we get up, our mind and our body are on the same level playing field, right? Mind is like, all right, we're up. Body's like, yep, let's start things. Let's empty the bladder, whatever. And the second we start to wake up, fuck you, buddy. The second we start to, get our day started officially, the mind and the body start their cycle, right? They start here from when you get up to when you start waking up. And then the mind goes a bit faster, right? The mind goes a bit faster. And the reason for that is because while we are not octopuses, we can't physically do multiple things all at once and go crazy and have crazy hands, but our mind can. Our mind can multitask. Our mind can have thought and forethought and metacognition and all that stuff. And while it's doing all that, it's thinking, it's starting the day, it's thinking about the rest of the day, it's planning, it's remembering tasks, it's doing this, it's doing that. It's also sending signals to the body, who is just trying to focus on this one thing to do. This is hard to do, but you get the picture. So the body is, kind of the slowpoke in this, right? It's trying to do what it's supposed to do with whatever. I don't care. I haven't played this game in years. It's trying to do what it's supposed to do, but it's not able to keep up with the mind. So that when the mind is going and going and going and it hits a snag and we don't slow down, then that's where the stress comes in, right? If it's going, hits a snag, oh my God, I got a surprise email and it's going to give me a heart attack because I think I'm in trouble with my boss, but I can't deal with it right now, so I have to keep going. The body is like, okay, and it's like, here, handle that for me. And the body is like, all right, I'm just going to have an increased heart rate. I'm going to push the machine hard. And that's where overwhelming stress comes from. That's where panic attacks come from. That's where just our physical symptoms in general come from after a long period of time. So that being said, what's good, Calvino? So that being said, why does yoga work? Why does meditation work? Why does mindfulness work? So if you're not familiar with any of those three, I'm gonna give you a brief rundown. Obviously, yoga is just a series of, stretches, movements, flowing movements, stretching, body movements, breathing in and out, turning yourself into a pretzel for fun kind of things, which increases blood flow and circulation, which is good for the noggin and good for the body because of, muscle tension and all that stuff. Meditation, a lot of people get meditation wrong, and people are always surprised when I say that. And I say they do it wrong because everyone thinks that, okay, I'll try meditating, and they think they have to sit on the floor, cross-legged, with their fingers out, talking about and that's just simply not it. Simply not it. You don't have to do that. Meditation is what's effective for you. Meditation can be sitting on the floor cross-legged. Meditation can be laying out flat in a room or on a blanket outside on a nice day, or it can be, just getting lost in the moment. Meditation can be simply, focusing on your breath. Meditation can be focusing on a phrase or a concept like gratitude. Meditation can be, I've never really listened to this album from start to finish really hard. Let me turn it on and pull a Lilo and Stitch and lay on the floor and really, really listen and think about nothing else. So it's really more so about focusing on the moment. It's more about slowing your brain down, right? Slowing your brain down to meet your body again, okay? And as well with, just kind of general self-reflection and mindfulness. Mindfulness itself just kind of brings you back into the moment. It brings you, to an area of focus on what's happening right now, what you're feeling right now. And overall, it's an increase in body awareness, right? So the goal of all those things, like I said, is it takes our brain and our body that's trying to keep up. Oh, I can do it now. Ha! And then it slows us down to the point where they're back together, functioning together, right? So if we start off the day here, and then the events of the day put us here, there we go, I got it again. Then being able to slow back down and come back together really helps for us to recenter ourselves, for us to feel like we're stable, for us to feel like we're back in control of our situations. Right, Jake? Love me. I do love you. So that's why those things work, because one, they force us to slow down. They force us to slow down, to take control of how fast our brain is going, because some of us can go a mile a minute. And it forces the body to catch up and say, hey, you've been, chucking all the stress stuff at me, all day long. Do you want to process through some of the stuff so we can get rid of it? Or am I just supposed to keep it, or what? And so not only does it slow us down, it gives us that opportunity to, one, be in control of what we're processing and focusing on in the moment. And two, it allows us that time to hone in on all the stressors that we've encountered and all the things we've been ignoring, so that we can appropriately and effectively process through it instead of just shoveling it onto the back, ignoring the fuck out of it, and letting it turn into muscle tension in our shoulders, in our chest, all of that stuff, and headaches. So mind-body connection is really super duper important. So a simple, relevant example: have you ever gotten so hungry that you've been irritable, or hangry, as people like to call it? That's mind-body connection. It's like, I need fuel from the machine that's down below so that I can keep navigating up top. But I am out of snacks, and so I am out of energy, which means I am angry, which means I can't process as fast as I need to. I can't multitask like I'm used to doing. And holy crap, what am I going to do? You eat so that you can refuel the machine. So, personal example time. So today, so I still haven't had an official self-care Sunday in 2 months. I know it's awful, it's bad. And so I could generally feel myself starting to get, very irritable, very nonchalant about my coworkers, my job. Like, I'm just wasn't with it. Okay. So I did myself a favor and I booked a lovely massage. Like a lovely massage at 9 o'clock this morning. I only do hot stone massage because, I like to shower in water that's hot enough to hatch a dragon egg, and that's just the way it's got to be. So I need deep tissue massage because, I have an athletic build and I work out all the time, so my muscles are like tough. So I need deep tissue and I need hot stone. So I booked myself a lovely hot stone massage today, and it was heavenly. And when I tell you, in that 60 minutes, I didn't care about work. I didn't care about, well, did we do our workout circuit today? I didn't care about, what are we having for dinner tonight? Didn't care about any of that. I was in the moment. My mind and my body were one. They were synced, and it felt really good. So good, in fact, that I fell asleep for a good 20 minutes. And that's something else that people might notice if they're really like hardcore learning to relax, is that your body and mind are kind of on a continuum, right? So like, if I'm used to being stressed out all the time and doing 80 million things, I'm at this wall. When I start to get into a relaxation practice, I'm going to be against this wall on the other side, simply because I'm not used to giving myself rest. And so when I get it, I'm going to take all of it. But with time, don't nobody care that you got on the green, Sam, whatever. So with time, you can come back to the middle, right? So that you can relax without falling asleep, because that just says in general that, one, you're overworked and you're not really taking too much care of yourself, and you totes should, like, oh my gosh. And so I fell asleep for a good 20 minutes. So case in point, I was really, needing some of that there. Hit that bitch. We. Oh my God, we. 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 Oh my God, Jake, we. So I did that. I was feeling loosey goosey. I was feeling comfortable. I had clarity of thought, which is really hard for me sometimes because I am, even though, like I said, we are not octopuses, I do still try to multitask like I am one because, oh, that's right, get in the fucking hole. Because I am one. See, look at you. Oh my God, we. See, if this sounds like you, then that means it's probably time for some vacay, dear Calvino, or at least some self care boundary time. Sam, no one cares. But yeah, I had clarity of thought. I mean, I knocked out a bunch of things on my to-do list. Didn't feel irritable about it. Didn't feel like, I don't feel like doing this. Like, just kind of buckled down, did it. Well, not even really buckled down, too. That's another thing that I noticed about people's just kind of language and how they describe, pushing through work or getting things done. So I love hearing that. It's in the trap. Oftentimes that's pretty much how people view themselves, having to push through and muddle through and, do all that stuff to just kind of get by. I got over the water. Hot damn. Just trying to push through and get over and get through their work. But there was none of that. It was just like, okay, now this task, now that task, now this task, and that task until I was done and had no real feelings about it one way or the other. I mean, was there a sense of accomplishment? Sure. But because, it was just kind of administrative shit. It was a bunch of emails and paperwork. I mean, who can really feel that accomplished about that, right? But the point being, because my mind and body were synced, I was able to kind of get through that, do what I needed to do, and come out on the other side feeling fine. Not feeling unimpacted is really the goal, right? It's like you can have that sense of accomplishment, but it's even better if you can get through a task or a work responsibility or something like that and still feel okay when you're done. So that's my personal example for the day. Let's see, what else to do? I have a float session scheduled for Sunday. Saturday is actually my anniversary, and we're going back to a Brazilian steakhouse. Oh, yeah. But I've got a float session scheduled for next Sunday. If you don't know what floating is, it's essentially you are in a sensory pod or a sensory chamber, and it's filled with, just a bunch of water and a whole lot of Epsom salt, like a whole lot, to the point where it doesn't matter how much you weigh, you're going to float regardless. And it's level. There's not that much water in it, so you're just kind of guaranteed to float around in there. You can have the lights on or off. You can have, soothing music playing. You have particular aromas playing, whatever. I have floated maybe once or twice. I think I floated at least once. I can't remember if I did it a second time or not, but it was a really good experience simply because I had never, at that point, this was before Self-Care Sunday and all that stuff got put in place. I had never had just time to exist in a space and pay attention to only me and only what's up here in the moment. Like, I deal with people every day. I get to sit around and be wrist deep in their brains and thoughts every day. But it's very rare and seldom that I get some me time to just be in my own head. Oh, that would have been awesome to be in my own head with that. So it's a really cool experience. The only downside is because of all the Epsom salt, when you get out, one, you're dehydrated as fuck. Your skin is anyway. Hi, we all float down here. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. Anyway,
that was weak.
That's right. Tell her it was weak. But the only downside is your skin is hella dehydrated, so you definitely have to, have some water. And you are hella bomb ashy and or dry. And because it gets in your hair, it's just like there's salt everywhere. You look like a White Walker when you get done. You look like a White Walker. That part I do remember. Double boogie. I don't care. I don't even care. But yeah, so I look forward to that. I'm probably going to journal maybe like an hour before that. Because typically my self-care Sunday consists of burning a whole lot of fucking incense, saging my house, saging myself, just kind of taking a moment, running my bath water. And as I do that, just really kind of taking a moment to slow down. Hit that bitch. Slow down and, just kind of gather my thoughts. It's like, because once I get in the bath, I don't really stay in very long. I stay in maybe 30 minutes, but unless I'm reading a book or something, I'm just kind of in there enjoying the water, but because I'm a busybody that doesn't slow down often, it gets me antsy. So I like to have a point of focus when I go in the bathtub. And so I clear my thoughts, I gather my thoughts in my journal, and, just kind of see what ideas I'm tossing around. And then once I get there, I really, I get new ideas for the week. So like I'm a huge type A person. Not as type A as a Rooks, but a huge type A person. So it does help me just kind of flesh out some ideas and help me self reflect on some things. Like I've got a million and one pieces, career wise, home wise, just life wise in general, that come up for me all. I don't know where your clown emojis are. um, but yeah, just lots of pieces. And that's how I give those pieces space to exist, to be fleshed out, to really figure out what I want to do. So like right now, I just oh yeah, type A. I'm very organized. Things are color coded. Things have their own thing. I have like 3 different kinds of planners. Like I've got my digital calendar on my phone that has like 6 different calendars on it. I have my iPad calendar that reflects the digital calendar, but I can also write on it. I can write tasks in it like it's a paper planner, because I miss having those. And I've got my task lists and my reminder lists that are on my phone and that come to my watch. So like I'm type A as shit. Like that's why the people at my job think I'm like an amazing octopus, is because I'm just I know what I have to do every second of every day. So yeah, I'm really type A. But yeah, and so I have to give these big long-term things and just small ideas time to exist in my head and in a space with me, so that I can, come up with, well, where do I want to go? Because I don't want to be doing the same thing for the rest of my life, So gives that space, and if that's what I want to focus on while I'm in a tub, that's what I focus on. It's just like, how does this fit with that? Yeah. So... Ooh, that's out of bounds. A lot of people aren't, actually, and that's okay. Type A people are typically way more anxious than normal people, simply because with type A people, it's not necessarily situational. Everything has to have its place, and everything has to be certain in order for us to be okay. And that's just kind of status quo. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Doesn't matter what we're doing. So... But yeah, I just do that, and then once I get out of the tub, I meditate. I actually put on some music that doesn't have words, because I find that words distract me a bit. I meditate on whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish for the week. I meditate on just kind of being in the moment, figuring out, what my priorities are, and then I do a tarot reading. So that's my self-care schedule. And whenever I don't do that, I am apparently noticeably out of whack, as my partner likes to say. And as I said, I haven't had an official self-care study in 2 months because, my plumbing issue. Can't exactly use a whole water of tub water, the whole tub of water, whole water of tub, jeez. Whole tub of water if my plumbing's not right, so... but I have been doing just little things to dabble in self-care. I have still been journaling. I have still been taking time to rest. I have still been doing, some meditation here and there, along with card readings, which is an actual interesting thing. I actually do card reading for, I don't know if I mentioned, I do card reading for some of my clients, simply because sometimes it's hard to know where to go with them. And so I ask, the powers that be, what I should be doing with them to help them. And it usually works out pretty good. I mean, it might freak them out a little bit. I don't tell them I read cards to figure it out, but the stuff I touch base on usually freaks them out a little bit, and that's entertaining. But, yeah. So, mind, body, you can't just take care of the body. You can't just go work out to feel healthy. You also have to stimulate your mind and all that stuff. Ooh, yoga. See, I had to learn to like yoga again. When I first started yoga when I was in college, and I didn't really like it, because if you haven't ever done yoga and you start bending yourself up like a pretzel, your lady parts make queefy noises. And nobody likes to hear that. Nobody likes to hear their own queefy noises, that's for sure. So I didn't really like it. But when I came here to start this job, I started back again and joined the Y, and I was like, okay, let's try yoga on my lunch break or whatnot. It was a different kind of style. It wasn't very fast paced. I didn't have to bend myself all up that much. It was just a very relaxing flow yoga, and it was really helpful, especially on my lunch break, because I learned very quickly that I can't really stand my coworkers. And that was kind of like my break in the. You better run, Mel. That was kind of like my break in the middle of the day to just be like, all right, we've gotten through the first half of the day. We have dealt with bullshit. Let's slow down. Let's be in the moment. Let's reconnect and resync, and then we'll get back to it. When I first started that, another thing about mind body connection is just kind of sensory stuff we do to kind of help get us in the mood for different things. Another thing about that is whenever I used to have trouble disassociating from work on the drive to the gym during my lunch break, and so I would keep Werther's hard candy in my car so that it would take me it would take me about 8 minutes to get there from my job. And so I would take a piece of Werther's candy and I wouldn't crunch it, I wouldn't chew it, I would just let it sit on my tongue. I would, really enjoy the flavor and whatnot, so that it was really just something else to focus on other than, they got on my nerves. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. It really was like, this is really good. This is smooth, this is rich, this is velvety goodness in my mouth, and it is awesome. And by the time I finished it, I'd already be at the gym, upstairs, on my yoga mat, ready to start. So finding different kind of sensory triggers is helpful too, to just kind of preface and show your body like, okay, this is the indicator, this is what we're doing next, so let's prepare. But yeah. So a good friend of mine and I had a lovely conversation just about a lot of stuff, like interaction wise, relationship wise, especially like parent to child, child to parent, people that are afraid of commitment in relationships, and people that just want to be loved and don't care how they get it. And it was just a really interesting conversation. I can't necessarily remember what the topic was, but we'll see what his schedule's like next week, and he may join me, and it may be an hour long one, because once we start talking, we like go. I mean, we be making some valid points and shit. We keep the running joke between us is that it's like, bro, we should totally have a podcast where we just talk about this shit, and we never do it. And it's terrible, because we should just totally record our phone conversations and just put them out there. Damn, I am terrible at this. So we may talk about that. Not sure yet. But yeah. So it is 8:30 on the nose. Oh, I thought the hole was way up there. 8:30 on the nose. So obviously it is time for Don Daring 101. And if you've never seen it, you should totally get your asses there, because oh my gosh, it is like so funny. But yep. So see you next week. Whatever, Sam. I don't care. Bye, y'all.